Hello! I'm your host, me. Today, we're going to talk about women's suffrage. Women's suffrage often means allowing women to vote, or giving women and men equal opportunities. This was very prevalent in the 1910s and 1920s when women could not yet vote. And many Americans know about American suffragettes, but do you know about suffragettes from other parts of the world? Well, here are 5 suffragettes from around the world. Number 1, Elizabeth Cady Stanton. Now, Elizabeth Cady Stanton was one of the most well-known suffragettes in America, but also pretty much the world. She was a leading figure of the early women's rights movement in America. She organized the first women's rights convention in Seneca Falls, New York. There, she put forward her Declaration of Sentiments, which is pretty professionally named. That's thunder outside. That means the Declaration of Sentiments is very dramatic. While many other women joined things like Christian temperance unions, Stanton was agnostic, meaning she didn't know whether there were gods or not. She didn't not believe in any, but she didn't believe in any. The Declaration of Sentiments that she put forward at the Seneca Falls Convention pretty much started the women's rights movement in the U.S., and later she was also the president of the National Women's Suffragette Association. So all in all, a very important Kickstarter for suffragettes in America. Number 2 was Kate Sheppard. New Zealand was the very first country to introduce universal suffrage in the 1890s. That meant that everybody could vote. So all women could vote. And because Kate Sheppard worked in New Zealand, which was the first country to introduce universal suffrage, she was very influential in other countries who looked to New Zealand as an example. In fact, she is even on New Zealand's $10 bill. That's how important she is. Sheppard was born in Liverpool to Scottish parents, and when she was adult, she moved to Christchurch, which is in New Zealand. And her work was partially inspired by her Christian faith. After 4 petitions in Parliament, 4 different petitions, a bill was passed in 1893 granting women full voting rights. So that's pretty cool. Clara Atkin. One of the prominent leaders for women's suffrage in Germany was a woman named Clara Atkin. Now, she was a Marxist and was active in the Social Democratic Party of Germany and the Democratic Party of Germany. For the time, and even still today, she was pretty left-wing, but she was especially well known for organizing the very first International Women's Day in March 1911, which continues to this day. Number 4 is Emmeline Parkhurst. Emmeline Parkhurst was very involved in the suffrage movement in Britain. Emmeline was active in the movement since she was 14 years old. It's really cool that she got into doing that when she was only 14, especially because women couldn't be active in a lot of things at that time. She founded the Women's Social and Political Union, which was more militant than many groups beforehand. They smashed windows and committed arson in order to try to get suffrage. Regardless, many people see Emmeline as crucial in the fight for women's rights in Britain, and that's why she's remembered to this day. Number 5 is the Famous 5. The Famous 5, what a cool name, were 5 Alberta women who created a petition integral in the fight for women's rights in Canada. The petition asked the Supreme Court of Canada whether the word persons in a Senate law applied to female persons. The Supreme Court of Canada said no, but at that time there was a higher court in Canada, if you will, the Supreme Court of Canada. It was called the Judicial Committee of the Imperial Privy Council. In an appeal to that council, the Famous 5 won their case, which is now seen as a big step in Canadian suffrage. So even though these were just a few individuals, they changed the fight for women's suffrage and advanced women's rights miles ahead. So, you know, even you can make a difference. That's it for me, and I hope you learned something today, here, right now. Remember, the truth is out there. Go and find it.